Okay, we are live. It's good evening to everyone who is tuning in and joining us. It's another great time to have conversation. It's amazing to have everyone here. Can you hear me, Jesu Fumi? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay,
Yes, I
fantastic.
can hear you.
Okay, let me check if you're live because I'm wondering why the button is not showing that we are live. Let me check. Okay, we are live right now. Great, great, great. Okay, good that we're here. All right, so guys, good evening, everyone. Yeah, if you are here in Nigeria, good evening to you, and if you're not in Nigeria, whatever greeting, good morning, good afternoon, good night, as the case may be. So I've been having conversations with a lot of individuals. I mean, individuals who are creative, individuals who are amazing, who are doing amazing works in all in different walks of life. So this evening I have another amazing woman with us, amazing lady, Janet. I don't want to pronounce the local name before I will mispronounce it because I don't want to mispronounce people's names. All right, so we have Janet here today. This evening, we're going to be discussing cracking the creative code, steps to becoming creative at what you do. All right, so welcome, Janet.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Okay, guys. Oh, amazing. I mean, people are joining in from different parts. I can see Shola from Estonia. I can see Chukuma Gabriel, Messi Ajebe. I see Simon Matthew. All right, guys. So let's know where you are tuning in from. Um, just like Shola has said, I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Shola Ayeni has said that she's watching from Estonia. Let's know where you are tuning in from. All right, drop in the comment section. Two things actually. Let's know where you're tuning in from, and then secondly, share this live stream as well as invite your friends. Tag them in the comment section. Tell them, hey, come over. There's a conversation that is going on now about creativity and how you can become creative at what you do. Please come over and have be part of this conversation. Okay, so thank you guys. Abel from Benin, Fortune Entity from Enugu, Nigeria. Please invite your friends. Tag 10 of them. Ibe Victor from Oka, Blessing Njideka from Benin City. Welcome, guys. Tag your friends, tag them in the comment section. Tag as many as you can 10, 15, 20 people. Tag them to come to be part of this conversation. All right, tag them. All right. Chidebele Esther, Chinyere Uzo, I can see you. Salome from Plateau State, Dave from Port Harcourt, good to see you guys. Chidebele, yeah. Okay, so guys, you're welcome. All right, so let's jump straight into it. Janet, what do you have for us this evening? How can we become creative at what we do? I'm going
Yeah.
to take my off the screen so that you focus and give us the juice of everything you've got for us this evening. Fire down,
All right.
girl. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to be here today. I'm super excited. Without further ado, we're going to be talking about cracking the creative code. Cracking the creative code. How to be creative at what you do. First of all, we have to question who a creative is. What's creativity? What really is creativity? Personally, I perceive creativity to be thinking beyond mere human sentiment. The eyes is meant for sight. But when you talk about vision, you're talking about someone who thinks beyond mere human sentiment. When you talk about who a visionary is, you're talking about somebody who thinks beyond mere human sentiment. And so I'll tell you that creativity is the art, is the process of thinking beyond mere human sentiment. What is that thing you are doing? What is that business you have? What's that idea you're about to implement? I want to tell you today that you can be creative at what you do. But you must understand that people do not search for you because of you. Nobody goes online to search for Janet, that's my name, because of me. People search for you because of what you have to offer. So at the end of the day, if you do not live beyond existing, your existence will be ignored. Now, this is to inform you and And I want you to pay attention to the fact that when you say something is right, you should understand that the enemy of right is not bad. Is not wrong. Because when something is wrong, you know it is wrong. When something is bad, you know it is bad. When you talk about something being right, what's the enemy of right? The enemy of right is good. The enemy of right is good. Why is the enemy of right good? Simply because what is good may not be what is right. I'm here to speak to you on cracking the creative code. If I come up here and I say, okay, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, everybody. My name is Janet, and I'm here to talk to you on cracking the creative code. And then I begin to stutter. In as much as I'm speaking to you, yeah, speaking to you is good, but that may not be the right way of speaking to you. So I want you to understand that you might have an idea, you might have a book you're about to write, you might have a business idea, whatever your idea is, you should understand that even though you experience success in your business or in the idea you desire to accomplish, you may not be doing it the right way because you are not dishing out excellence. Good is the enemy of right. I have an idea. I want to put that idea out there. The idea becomes a success. But the fact that that idea comes to accomplishment doesn't make the process through which that idea doesn't make the process through which the idea became implemented the right process through which that idea ought to be implemented. So join me today as I take you through step-by-step means of being creative, step-by-step means of thinking beyond mere human sentiment. First of all, the first step is for you to learn to think together while thinking differently. Learn to think together while thinking differently. Creativity applies to all spheres of life. Whether you're a student, whether you're a teacher, you are an online entrepreneur, whether you have a business, an offline business, you are a mom. The way a mother will correct her child for doing something wrong is different from the way another parent or a mother will correct her child for doing something wrong. And at the end of the day, both kids were corrected for the same wrong, yet one will turn out to be good, the other will turn out to be bad. So this is to tell you that the fact that you were able to accomplish a particular thing doesn't make the process through which that thing being accomplished the right process. So first of all, the first step is for you to learn to think together while thinking differently. And I'm going to give you a story. Recently, on Saturday, I was in a room with some of my friends. One of us had issue with her cloth. She's a seamstress. She is a fashion designer. She was confused on how to go through her pattern on her cloth. Then she asked the three of us in the room. She said, what should I do to this cloth? Should I cut this lace and fix it at this other part of the cloth? Everyone gave their idea. I was looking at that cloth. I was like, I don't want to say something. And at the end of the day, everyone is like, oh, so that's what you wanted to say. So I kept looking at the cloth. The upper part of the cloth was plain. The lower part of the cloth was a lace. Having looked at the cloth, I just told her, why don't you cut out the flowery part of the cloth and attach it to the plain part of the dress? That's the upper part of the dress. And she was like, it makes sense. By the time she tried it, it was already given. At the end of the day, she was like, okay, let me go through this pattern. And the following morning, she was able to get a beautiful dress for a wedding we attended that Saturday. This is to tell you that as a creative person, whether or not you are into business or you have certain ideas or you're a student, you should learn to think together while thinking differently. And that is thinking, that is creativity. That is you thinking beyond mere human sentiment. Mere human sentiment. Everyone in that room, we are actually thinking towards a particular direction, which seemed to be right. When I looked at the dress, I was like, why don't you cut out the flower? from some of the list and place it up, and it turned out to be beautiful. Learn to think together. A creative person is not someone who should be loud or necessarily loud because you feel your idea is better or your suggestion is better or the way or process to go about a particular thing is better. You shouldn't be that loud. But in as much as you have to profile your solution when you know that your idea is better, you should learn to become and think differently. When you say thinking together, it means everyone is thinking towards a particular result. At that event where I was with my friends in that room, we were all thinking towards having a beautiful dress. We wanted to have a beautiful dress. We wanted our friend to have a beautiful dress. That was us thinking together. But while everyone was thinking in a particular direction, I had to think differently. Another thing I would like you to understand is the second step to becoming creative at what you do, to think beyond mere human sentiment. When everybody is seeing black, you should look at that black and say, what if we add a shade of white to this black? We're going to have an ash. The second step is for you to learn the art of attention arbitrage. Attention arbitrage. What really is attention arbitrage? That's the new normal. That's the next big market as a creative. Whether or not you write books, whether or not you're a public speaker, whether or not you're a student online, whatever you are doing, a creative person is somebody who is intentional about gaining attention. Because, hello, I'm not here to speak to you just for you to get out. I want you to pay attention to me. I do not give out ideas because I want somebody else to take charge of my ideas or somebody to say, I was there and now it's my idea. I give out my ideas like the one I told my friend in her room. I told her, and at the end of the day, they applauded me for that idea. You should learn the art of attention arbitrage. Attention arbitrage is you exchanging attention for a certain value. It could be money, it could be you having more following, it could be you having some form of award, some form of recognition. A creative person should be intentional about learning the art of attention arbitrage. First of all, you need to learn to think together. Think together. We are all thinking towards achieving a particular result, but you have to think differently. The second thing to note is that you need to learn the art of attention arbitrage. Your idea is not meant to be kept under the cupboard. Your idea is not meant to be kept under the bed. It's for it to come out. So it's not a crime for you to make noise like no one does it better than you. It's not a crime for you to make noise like you're the only one doing that particular thing. Make noise. Nobody can blow your trumpet like you. So learn the art of attention arbitrage. The next step, that's the third step. I'm going to give you 7 steps today. The third step to becoming creative at what you do is to learn to be an innovative leader. Learn to be an innovative leader. Nothing new is on earth. Did you know? Nothing new is on earth. Nothing new is on earth. Have you ever wondered? King Solomon, biblical King Solomon, was wise. Wise. He was really wise. Yet, he did not invent the aeroplane. King Solomon has been said to be the wisest man on earth. Yet, he did not invent the bulb, the lights. Yet, he never went to space. The persons, the Wright brothers who invented airplane, they are not considered as wise as King Solomon. Now, I'm going to bring out something from this. A creative person should think as an innovative leader. Because innovation basically is you bringing out new things from old things. You bringing out new ideas from existing ideas. You seeing an opportunity in a problem. That's who an innovative leader is, and that's what it means to be creative. You have to think beyond mere human sentiments, and a leader must think beyond mere human sentiment, because thinking beyond mere human sentiments is what creativity is all about. And that is you being innovative. You want to write a book, you intend to launch your book. You've noticed the trend in which a lot of persons have been launching their book. Why don't you think of how to leverage the idea of some other person or the way some other person have done theirs to do yours? Now I'm going to give a story. Recently, I had a program, Creatives Aflame. I organized a lot of persons, I brought a lot of persons on board to speak at that event. I remember the day I had this idea. I was just recovering from a kind of idea that I implemented, which was not really strategic. So I felt pained. I wanted to do something really exceptional. So I was doing the laundry that day, I was washing my cloth, and then this idea just popped. 2 days events, 7 speakers, 3 panelists. The idea just popped. I felt like a pregnant woman that day. I wanted to just tell somebody about the idea. I remember feeling so sick. Why? Because I had this big idea in me, but I did not want to spill it out just like that, because I had no plan on how to implement the idea. So at the end of the day, I told a friend. And when I told the friend, I said I wanted something exceptional. We're going to talk about the difference between success and excellence. So I told a friend I wanted something exceptional. What did I do? When I was to pick a name for my event, which was Creatives Aflame, when I was to pick a name for my event, I went through certain persons' persons who I admire. I went through the title for their events. I saw a lot of name potentials. I saw a lot of names, uplifts. I saw so many names. I went online, I searched for a lot of names. And then at the end of the day, I got inspired by some other person's idea, and I built an idea and we built, not just me personally, we built an idea that became an excellent one. So basically, a creative person should be one who is innovative. You should be an innovative leader. You should see solutions in problems. But how do you see solutions in problems when you are not ready to stretch your brain? Somebody sees a sheep for meat, while another person will see a sheep for wool. While somebody is seeing a sheep for wool, somebody else is seeing a wool for cloth. Hope I'm communicating. This is to tell you that nothing really is new under the earth. The sheep has always been in existence. It's an animal. Somebody kills the sheep and eats it, while some other person takes the sheep, makes wool out of the sheep, and some other person takes that wool and turns the wool into a cloth. So this is it. A creative person must be an innovative leader. A creative person, now we're going to the fourth step to being creative. A creative person must be one who is a visionary. Vision is beyond sight. The eye is for sight. Vision lies between your ears, and that is your head, which is your mind. Vision is beyond the sight. The eye is for sight. But somebody who must be creative must see beyond mere human sentiment. Now let's talk about what it means to see beyond mere human sentiment. I'm looking at the world. I see problems. I see countries at war with each other. I see the rise in prices. I see fuel scarcity. I see struggles. I see strikes. I see poor education system. That is what I see. A creative person who sees beyond just what the eyes can see, who has a visionary mindset that lies between the ears, who is able to think beyond mere human sentiments, will see beyond all the problems. The person will see opportunities. The person will see the opportunity to get a product that will replace or will be a substitute to fuel. The person will see a way of making education affordable at an excellent delivery system. It's not just to make the educational system affordable. Something that's affordable doesn't, when something is affordable or cheaper than some other one, it doesn't make that thing excellent, or it doesn't make that thing of high quality or better quality. A creative person must be a visionary leader. While talking, I've mentioned two qualities of a leader that a creative person must have. First, you have to be an innovative leader. You have to make something new out of old things that's been existing. Let's talk about King Solomon again. Just like the analogy I gave earlier, I said King Solomon was said to be the wisest man on earth, yet he did not invent the airplane, yet he did not invent the bulb, yet he did not invent cars. The person who invented cars, the person who invented the airplane, the persons who invented lights, saw beyond what their eyes could see. The persons who invented bulb, saw beyond what their eyes could see. Beyond the darkness, they saw a bulb that could light the world. And that idea laid in them. Somebody who must be creative must have an idea, must be pregnant of an idea. Just the way I told you, I was pregnant of an idea, and I felt literally sick. Imagine a woman who is pregnant, how a woman who is pregnant behaves. That was similar, or it's basically similar to the way I felt the day I had that idea in me. A creative leader must be one who has vision, who sees beyond mere human sentiments, who sees ash in black, who sees orange in red. A creative leader is one who must be innovative. When you take black and you mix white with the black, it turns ash. A creative leader takes existing ideas and builds something new out of it. And just so you know, the solution to the problems around you, the process or the tool to you implementing that excellent idea is already around you. But why does it seem like your ideas seem not to be giving that bang you really want? It's because you've not seen beyond mere human sentiments. It's because you're seeing what other persons are saying. I'll give you an instance of how I come up with my ideas, and basically how I also came up with this topic I'm treating here today. I once told some persons at a gathering, I said, whenever I have an inspiration to go out there and do something exceptional, I sit down, I think about, okay, how do I want this to go? I have my plan. And then I'm like, okay, so how do I want to strategically launch this? Whatever idea I have at that moment, or whatever idea comes to my head at that moment, I try as much as possible to jot those ideas down. But there is something I do that I think some of you may not do. And that's the fact that I see those initial ideas as what anybody will think. For instance, if I want to launch a book, what will come up? Okay, I have to have a flyer. I have to invite speakers. I have to, if it's online, okay, I have to pay my speakers. I have to get maybe Telegram, Facebook, a Facebook group, or WhatsApp group for the launch. I have to do some publicity. That's what any regular person would do. So once those initial ideas come up, I put them down, and then I do not discard them, but I keep them in my left hand, because to me, from my perspective, I believe that those initial ideas I have, or that actually got into my mind or my head at that moment, are things anybody will think, anybody will process if anyone wants to do something similar to what I have to do. So what I will now do now is to stretch my brain, stretch myself to think beyond mere human sentiment, because I want to deliver excellence beyond success. I want to deliver something exceptional. I want whatever idea I'm going to put out there to be one that will be sustainable beyond just the applause of men at the moment. So yes, those initial ideas, I keep them in my left hand and then I press forward to stretch my brain to think more. Okay, I want to organize this conference. Anybody who's going to organize a physical conference needs to get an hall. Okay, what should I do in that hall that will make my conference memorable? I begin to think, okay, needs to be a stage. What kind of stage do I want? For most events I've attended, this is the way the stage used to be. All right, since this is the way most stages are, I do not want my own stage to be like this. I will start thinking. And in most cases, myself and my team, we might have some drag, and then we come into a conclusion. But the basics of this, the basics of me telling you to think beyond mere human sentiment, to be an innovative leader, for you to be exceptionally creative, for you to be a visionary leader, for you to be exceptionally creative, is the fact that the first thought that comes to your head when you have an idea or when you have the intention to implement an idea, those first ideas are basically what anybody who intends to do something similar will think. If you think this is not true, check it out. When you had an idea to organize a conference, when you had an idea to launch a book, when you had an idea to start up a business, you want to start a provision store kind of business, the first idea that comes to anybody's head is to go get the provision at the market, is to go stock her shop. Aside stocking your shop, are you thinking of something that would attract people to you? Are you thinking of something? I'm going to use a particular business as an example here, and that's the business of recharge card selling, data selling in Nigeria, basically. You see a lot of persons do WhatsApp marketing, those who sell data, the data vendors. How about you thinking beyond mere human sentiment? How about you setting up a website where people can go purchase their data? How about you giving us tutorials on how to manage our data? How about you telling us why don't you tell us why the data we bought for 1 month lasts for just 2 days? Why don't you give us certain educational content? Why don't you become a data vendor that makes excellent videos? These are things that most data vendors are not doing. And if you start doing it, oh my God, I bet it's with you. Those who go through their bank's app to buy their data would come to you, not because they can't go elsewhere, not because they don't know anyone that does it, but they are just carried away. They are just so amazed by your excellence. And that's what creativity basically is all about, thinking beyond mere human sentiment. Another thing I would like to say is that you have to intentionally stretch your brain. Stretch your brain as a creative. This is another step. Stretch your brain. I mentioned it earlier. As a creative, you need to stretch your thinking faculty. You don't think like just anybody. You don't just implement your ideas the way anyone will implement their ideas. Another thing you must know, this is another step of being a creative leader, because I believe that I'm a creative from my results. There is something that stands me out in what I do. I'm going to be very practical in this session, and that is the KSE formula. Know something of everything without you being known for everything. Know something of everything without you being known for just everything. You want to be creative. You need to stretch your brain. Well, you can't go beyond your knowledge. You can't go beyond what you know, because you cannot build something on nothing. So as a creative, you need to learn to know something of everything. You are a public speaker. You keep clamoring, making noise that you're a public speaker, whereas you have poor camera presentation. You're a public speaker. You keep clamoring that you're a public speaker, but really, what do you have to offer? You lack camera presentation. There are certain terminologies that you will use on, maybe you're telling your audience how to set their phone camera. By the time you're telling them things like aperture, by the time you're telling them things like your lightning, by the time you're telling them things like your angle, by the time you're using some media or videography, let's say cinematography terms, people will come and listen to you beyond you speaking eloquently. You need to know something of everything. You're a creative writer. You need to learn content creation. You need to learn SEO optimization. You need to learn a lot of things. You are a content creator. You need to learn how to shoot your videos. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn digital marketing. You need to learn possibly website designing. You need to learn graphics design. Not because you want to brand yourself as this, or you want to brand yourself in these niches, but because the knowledge in these niches or in this aspect of life or business would help you. Let me use myself as an instance. I identify as a media practitioner, a media enthusiast, but there are certain skills I have learned before now. For instance, I learned website designing, not because I want to start designing people's websites, but because I want to know about it. I took time to learn graphics design, not because I want to start designing graphics but for people, but so that I could speak with my graphics designer authoritatively. I could criticize his work. I could tell him this is what I want and this is how we should go about it. You organize conferences, you decide to host conferences, you've not learned project management. Know something of everything without you being known for everything. Why should you know something of everything? Knowing something for everything, that's the KSA code, will help you in applying those ideas or those things you've learned in that particular aspect of life you branded. For instance, imagine somebody who is a law student or a law graduate who becomes a digital marketer or a content creator. There is the possibility that despite the person not practicing law, the person would be able to apply his or her knowledge in law when shooting his videos or when shooting out his or her content out there. Know something of everything. It's okay for you to niche down. It's okay for you to carry your business on your head. But sometimes people are attracted to the little details that stands you out from others, to the little things that makes you exceptional. Know something of everything. Now, this is an assignment to everyone listening to me. I'm going to tell you this. Look at yourself. Who are you branded as presently? Do you sell palm oil? Are you a book editor? What do you do? Are you a cinematographer? Do you talk to people on business? Write out your niche, that thing you do. Do you talk to people on leadership? Are you a pastor? It's so funny to note that in as much as we have pastors who are spirit filled, some of them are not creative in pushing out their message. I believe that a pastor should learn certain skills which include human relationship skills, public speaking, storytelling. Not all pastors are good storytellers. Sometimes you sleep during some messages in your denomination or in your religious setting. Do you think it's because that particular religious speaker is not filled, or he doesn't know what he's saying, or she doesn't know what she's saying? Basically, it's because the person may have not learned certain skills that will make the person stand out from some other speakers. It's not enough for you to be so skilled, to be knowledgeable in a particular aspect. You should learn to know something of certain skills or certain aspects of life that are related to what you do. Know something of everything. Now back to the assignment I have for you. Write out that particular things you do, what you want to be known for or what you're known for, whether it's a business, whether it's an idea, what's that next big thing you have in your head or that thing you're implementing presently. Write it out. After writing it out, give a space and write out some other skills. At least write 5 skills you know are related to that particular skill. For instance, if you're a graphics designer, you need to be a good content writer. Yes, there are times you give designs to graphics designers and they just mess up the grammatical structure of your piece. And that doesn't undermine the fact that the design is beautiful. But hello, that's not how to write this. This grammar is wrong. This is not how to spell this. Is that what you want your clients to always say? As a graphics designer, for instance, you need to learn You need to learn creative writing. You need to learn how to speak. Imagine you have a graphics designer who comes up here to make exceptional videos. As a graphics designer, you need to learn brand designing. You need to learn business strategies. You need to learn the art of being a business strategist beyond just designing graphics. Write out at least 5 skills related to what you do. The people who do exceptional things that you love are human beings like you. But what stands them out is their ability to pay attention to these tiny details. So write out 5 skills that you know are related to what you do. Now give yourself a time frame. At least every month, I must learn one of these skills. So that means in the next 5 months, you need to know, or you need to have knowledge. You need to be knowledgeable in these skills. Why? Because by the time you become knowledgeable in these skills, somehow it just happens. Yes, it just happens. Somehow the difference will be there. Somehow it just happens. By the time you're a graphic designer who learns the art of storytelling, who learns the arts of possibly project managing, who learns certain skills, you learn creative writing, somehow you will see yourself standing out in your industry. So yes, write out that business idea. Do you sell oil? Do you sell biscuits? Do you sell meat? What is that thing you do? Are you a farmer? Write out that thing. There are certain skills that if you have knowledge in them, they will stand you out. They will stretch your thinking faculty to think beyond mere human sentiments. Now, another thing I want you to note as a creative, somebody who wants to be creative, somebody who wants to think beyond mere human sentiments, somebody who wants to see ash when other persons are seeing black, somebody who wants to see orange when other persons are seeing red. You need to understand the difference between success and excellence. You see, many a times in life, when we say, I want to be great, I want to hit money this year, I want to become a millionaire, I want to do this. Many a times when we talk about this, we're not talking about excellence, truth be told. We're not talking about excellence. Our eyes are most times on success. And what is success? The thin line between success and excellence is just the value of which they are being weighed. You intend to host 1,000 persons at your event, right? At the end of the day, you had 200 persons. Despite the fact that you invited big names, you invited great persons in the industry. At the end of the day, you had just 200 persons. Imagine intending to have a meeting or a conference of 1,000 persons, and at the end of the day, you have just 200 persons at your event. And maybe the 200 persons who registered for the event did not come. You ended up having 150 persons at that event. Hello, how will you feel? Definitely, you will feel like you failed, right? That's the difference between success and excellence. The truth is, that event you organized might have been excellently organized. But yes, in a way, it wasn't a success, because success is being weighed by certain goals. Success is being weighed by certain forces, outer forces. Okay, I'm a public speaker. I'm talking to you today on creativity. By the time I'm going to watch this video, when I'm done, I begin to look at the way I spoke. Is it the way the person who taught me how to speak speaks? Is it the way so and so person speaks? By the time I say, oh, the way I spoke, I'm not supposed to pronounce this word the way I pronounced it. Oh, that's success. So your success is being weighed by certain goals. Was I able to achieve this particular goal? Was I able to hit this particular thing this year? He's a successful man. He's a millionaire. He desired to become a millionaire at the age of 17, at the age of 20. And yes, he's successful. How often do you hear the term or the word, he's an excellent man? Why? Because success is opened to many, but available to few persons, because it's being weighed by certain forces, certain outer forces. When you talk about excellence, excellence is more of quality. Excellence is more of quality. So if you intend to have 1,000 persons at your event, at the end of the day, 200 persons register, and then finally 150 persons are at the event, despite the fact that you invited big names to the event, you feel bad, right? Ah, that event was not a success, was not a success. But then you come online and then you see those 150 persons, those 150 persons who were at your event, talking so much about the event. Ah, I was so blessed. Thank you so much. I would have missed this event, but thank you for pulling me to come for this event. Oh, the speaker that spoke so well. That is excellent. Your event was excellently delivered, but of course, it did not hit its goal. Success is more of you reaching a particular goal. It's more of you comparing yourself with certain cultural traditions, certain things in the society which you expected to meet. But excellence is more of qualities. Excellence is more of the process through which you're able to get to that goal. And it's important to note that as a creative, you should be more intentional about excellence, because in excellence you see success. But you can be successful without you being excellent. You can you can attend an event, you can get to an event on time as a speaker, you get to that event on time, you're well dressed, but your piece might not, or your performance might be poor. You did not excellently deliver. Do you know why we don't say she successfully delivered? We say she excellently delivered. Of course, because it's the process through which she spoke. Of course, she came early. Of course, she dressed well to the event, but she did not excellently deliver. Because excellence is more of quality. Success is more of you comparing certain goals or certain cultural expectations, certain traditional expectations, you're comparing yourself with some other persons. That is success. So as a creative, you need to think excellence. And in excellence, you think about the quality. How do you want some other persons to feel? You're going for a business. We've talked about you thinking together while you thinking differently. Of course, at the end of the day, my friend whom were together in her room, the one who I gave a particular idea, at the end of the day, she was so happy. And of course, I felt proud of myself. It was an excellent idea. The idea was implemented excellently. Until date, I'm sincerely happy that I gave that suggestion. I did not keep quiet. So these are the steps to being creative. So whether or not you think together and then you think differently while thinking differently, whether or not you are an innovative leader, whether or not you have a vision, whether or not you want to do big stuff as a creative, whether or not you learn the art of attention arbitrage, it's important to understand that as a creative, your implementation, your confidence in launching whatever your idea is or whatever your business is you thinking about excellence. Because you might organize an event this year, a lot of persons might attend the event was successful, but they may not attend the event next year because they did not see the excellence that they wanted. Excellence is based on quality. I will emphasize that again, it's based on quality. Excellence is based on quality. Excellence is based on quality, and that is what you should pursue as a creative. And that is what creativity is all about. Creativity is you thinking beyond mere human sentiments. So this is it on cracking the creative code. This is it on you seeing beyond what others are saying. So the question now is, can anyone learn to be creative? Because hello, this lady has been here speaking a lot of grammar. She's been talking innovative leadership. She's been talking thinking beyond mere human sentiments. But how do I think beyond mere human sentiments? I am a graphic designer. I've gone for a lot of trainings. I've learned creative writing, but it seems like it's not getting into my head. Despite me practicing, how do I become creative? Am I really creative? There's something you need to note, that Rome isn't built in a day. Rome isn't built in a day. You've learned the art of attention arbitrage. You've paid for ads. Oh my goodness. I just remembered something that happened. When I got to know about the art of attention arbitrage, and I was so invested in bringing that attention to myself. I remember paying a certain amount of money for me to get certain attention. It was an ad basically. And then I realized that no single person came from that ad. I felt so pained. I told you when I got that idea about the conference I organized, I felt so pregnant. I felt like a pregnant woman. I felt so sick. I just wanted that idea to just come out of me. As at that time, I was recovering from a failed attempt to get certain attention. And that was me paying certain amounts of money for a particular ad that was run without anyone or any success from that ad. Remember, this is what I said. I said without me recording success, from that ad. Success is based on you weighing certain goals. Was I able to accomplish this particular thing? That's success. So by the time I sat down, scrutinized my strategies, the failed strategies I actually implemented that led to the failure of that particular ad I ran, I became pregnant with a big idea. So yes, the question now once again is, can you learn to be creative? Of course you can learn. Try as much as possible to go through all you've written down. I want to think beyond mere human sentiments. I want to see black. I want to see ash when other persons are seeing black. I want to see orange in the red. Then you tell yourself, I want to learn the art of attention arbitrage. Because at the end of the day, whatever you were doing is not meant for you. It's meant for others, and you need to get their attention. You have to think beyond mere human sentiments. You have to be creative. At the end of the day, you need to be an innovative leader. You need to be a visionary person. You need to see beyond sight. You need to use that mind in between your ears. You need to bring out new things from old things. At the end of the day, you need to understand that you need to stretch your thinking. I've done all this, but I'm not getting the result I need. Rome wasn't built in a day. You should learn to avoid unnecessary comparison. That could even lead to depression. Learn to avoid unnecessary comparison with other persons that could lead to unnecessary depression. Sometimes you're like, okay, I remember when I first started online, when I post my content and then I'm getting like 5 reactions. I'm like, oh my God. Then I go to check someone else's post and I'm like, this person just had 500 likes or engagements in maybe 10 minutes. And I'm like, what's the difference between myself and this person? At the end of the day, I went through this particular person's timeline and I realized that this person had been there doing some stuff before I came on board. So Rome wasn't built in a day. Avoid unnecessary comparison, but make sure you pursue excellence. Make sure you pursue excellence. Avoid unnecessary comparison. I repeat again, when you're pursuing excellence, you won't be acting as one who is desperate. You see, a creative person is not one who is unnecessarily loud. A creative person is not one who imposes his or her suggestion because she feels that it's the best. A creative person is not one who is probably too arrogant, too loud. When you do such, you end up pursuing success. And just like the Bible says, the Holy Book says, it tells you that there are good successes and there are bad successes. So yes, that the fact that you're able to measure your achievements or the result of whatever you've gotten by you reaching a particular goal, by you getting that goal or that
Oh
and
well.
seems like you're on the same pace. The fact that that happens doesn't mean that it's been excellently done. And if you do that, you necessarily engaging in competitions, in a competition that won't yield the results you need. Because at the end of the day, you will get tired. You see, when you engage in competition as a creative, when you pursue success and not excellence. Remember, in excellence, there is success because you're talking about quality, you're talking about what you have to offer, you're talking about the process, you're talking about you doing the right thing beyond what is good. Remember, I said good is the enemy of right, because what is good doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. If I'm a student, I attend classes, it doesn't mean that I'm paying attention in class. So that I attend classes and I get myself in the attendance doesn't mean that I knew or I understand what's being taught in class. So if you put your mind on pursuing success at all costs, a time will come in your business, a time will come in your life, a time will come in your career, a time will come in your job that you'll be like, so this is all there is to life. And like my biological father told me, he made me understand that when a man says, so this is all there is to life, it shows that that person is already calling death. When you pursue success, when you are in unnecessary competition, look at this person, look at the figure she posted. 100 persons are already in her class, 50 persons have purchased the book. That's what you're pursuing. Instead of you pursuing excellence, instead of you taking, instead of you to take note of all the steps I've mentioned, you're pursuing the metric, you're pursuing the numbers, you're pursuing the fame, you're pursuing the unnecessary fame. And I would like to say this, there's a difference between fame and popularity. Yeah, so you're pursuing the fame, you're pursuing what doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when you get to that goal, when you get to that point of you saying, oh, thank God it was a successful event, thank God you were able to get the numbers, you begin to feel like, so this is all there is to be. So this is everything. And when you begin to say, so this is everything, like, so this is what it means to have the money. So what's next? You're already calling death. And when I mean death, I mean you're trying to say, it seems like what the business should be up. It seems like we should just shut down the business. This is everything. We've made the money. That's all. When you pursue excellence, by the time you get to that point of you saying, now I'm happy with my results. I'm happy that I've been able to write or launch a book, and this book yielded substantial results. I organized a conference and a lot of persons were blessed at this conference. Yes, I'm a speaker, and beyond me just speaking, I understand the art of storytelling. Beyond me just speaking, I understand how to communicate appropriately to my audience. By the time you pursue excellence, by the time you get your results, you would not be like, so this is all there is, so this is everything. You will think about your process. You will think about where you're coming from. You will think about the things you need to learn, the problems that became opportunities. Because as a creative, you need to be an innovative leader. You begin to think about the problems you encountered that became opportunities. You begin to think about the baggages you had to drop just for you to get to that point where you are. And then you realize, indeed, it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about the results. It's about you doing something that will sustainably stand the test of time. And that is an evidence of an exceptional creative. You putting out a graphic that by the time somebody sees it in 2, 3, 4 years, it won't look like an eyesore to the person. You designing a logo that a company will use substantially. I've interacted with certain graphics designer. I don't know why I'm very particular about graphic designers. I've interacted with certain graphic designers, and there's something that actually is the fact that beyond them, just some of them basically, beyond them giving you your logo out, they will explain to you why you have to use this logo. Imagine having a graphics designer who tells you this is why you have to use this logo. You should understand that that person did not just learn graphic design. come and learn graphics design and start making money in 2 weeks. Is it true? You understand that this person did not just learn graphics design alone. The person went far. The person got certain skills. That's why the person can tell you when you're writing a book, this is the kind of fonts you should use. Because if you use this font, yeah, a book is a book. But this particular font would not captivate the kind of audience you want or you're trying to attract. So yes, this is it on cracking the creativity code. Cracking the creative code. This is the step-to-step way or step-to-step means of becoming a creative at what you do. In whatever you do, this applies to everyone. Like I said, whether you're a parent, you're a student, you want to write an examination, you need to think beyond mere human sentiment. When your lecturer gives you a particular work in class, you need to see beyond what is seen because your lecturer will grade you according to the excellence you are able to put out there. Your exam might be successful, doesn't mean you had an excellent result. So please try as much as possible to think beyond mere human sentiment. Try as much as possible to think together to achieve a particular result while thinking differently. Try as much as possible to think excellence and not just success. Because in excellence, there is success. So without further ado, I think we still got some more time. I would like to call my host on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have been at the back end learning from you. Amazing stuff you've been talking about, how to be creative, becoming creative at what you do. Thank you so much, guys. So, you guys, do you have questions for our guest? Do you have questions for Janet? I mean, a lot of people have been dropping their comments, and that's amazing. I've just been at the back end and I see Shola, I'm pursuing excellence. I refuse to be desperate. Gloria, avoid unnecessary comparisons but indulge excellence. Competition won't yield the results you want by Onyinyechi Banefo. All right, guys. You got questions, please let's know if you've got questions for our guest tonight before we call it a day. We have done 58 minutes so far, and Janet has really been amazing in sharing her thoughts. Justina Aymorika Godwin with excellence, there's success. All right. Laduni thinking beyond human sentiment. Okay, guys. Any question whatsoever, guys? Any question? I'm not seeing any question in the comment section. Any question, guys? Mm, any question whatsoever? Okay. Janet, I don't think there are questions. I think you must have done. Janet, can you hear me? I think she's gone. All right. Network has knocked her off, but I believe you guys got lots of value, right? We got lots of value from all the things that she shared. Thank you so much for the for that lesson, Obele. You're welcome. How do you deal with creativity blocks? I hope that she comes back. I think network has knocked her off, but I believe that she will come back. Let me see if I can get her back on to come answer the questions. All right. Mm, okay. Laduni is saying the code has really been cracked. I don't have any question. I got loads of value. Okay. Let me get her to come back. Okay. Shala is saying that she's got lots of value. Cyprian, you got so much value. Israel, amazing speech. Elizabeth Bassi, I joined in late, but I like to talk about how we can inspire partnership over competition. I'm trying to get her back. Okay. Okay, she's back on. Okay. Janet, you've got
Okay.
two questions. Can you hear me? You've got two
Yes,
questions,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Somebody's asking, Princess Gift is asking, how do you deal with creativity blocks?
Okay. All right. How do you deal with creativity blocks? For me personally, I believe that creativity block is something that only exists in the dictionary. It only exists in the dictionary. Why? Because most times when you think that you're not thinking about anything, or oh my God, I want to write, but I'm having this kind of writer's block. The truth is, you're having ideas, but those ideas seem not to be the kind of ideas you want. You have certain ideas. I want to write on medicine. I want to write on how to treat cholera or something else. The ideas you're getting, how do I start my first paragraph? The ideas you're getting are not ideas you think are worth putting down. So it seems like nothing is coming up. Now, this is what you should do. When you're in that kind of experience, whatever comes to your head, put it down. Whatever comes to your head, put it down. Sometimes you might need to sleep over it. For instance, before I came for this this live session, I had to rest. I had to pour water on my head. Yes, because I was so stressed. So you might need to rest. Then when you wake up, try as much as possible to put down anything that comes to your head. I perform spoken word, I write, I'm a public speaker. There are lots of things I do. I write scripts, but sometimes I go blank, and it can be embarrassing when you have deadlines to meet. Put down anything, anything that's coming to your head at that moment, put it down. Then after some time, you can start. By the time you start looking at those things, in those things you've written down, you start seeing better inspiration, better ideas. And some other times you can possibly try as much as possible to go and watch videos or read certain things on that particular thing you want to talk about or you intend to do, and then you can be inspired.
Okay, thank you so much. Another person is asking, um, how can we inspire partnership over competition? How can we
All
inspire
right.
partnership over competition?
All right. The truth is, the word competition is real. Yes, as a writer who writes, you should understand that you have competitors in your industry. If you are selling something, there are definitely competitors. And the reason why you have to be creative is because there are competitors. I told you I used the graphic designer as an instance. I said, as a graphic designer, you need to learn some other skills so that you stand out in your industry. Not because you are the only one in that industry, but in the real sense, there are competitors. But now it's not just about the competitors, it's about you not acting like you're in a competition. Because if you act like you're in a competition, you can do anything. You can do anything. Imagine a content creator who is not making waves as a content creator. Look, at some point, you will feel so frustrated that you want to do anything, irrespective of the kind of branding you've been giving yourself. And that's why sometimes you just see some persons who've been a bit moral in some way online just go wide. Why? Because sometimes when you go wide, when you do the bad thing, when you go crazy, that's when people want to know what's up. But that doesn't mean that it might be excellent. So now to the question, how do we inspire partnership over competitors? The first thing I would like to say is for you to understand that there are three levels or three kinds of persons you must network with. People who are ahead of you, people who are at your level, and people who are not at your level. Of course, it's not pride. You will definitely know people who are not on the same space with you, possibly because they are just coming up or they are not giving that creative bang like you are given. Try as much as possible to network with them. Try as much as possible to network with people who are on the same pace with you, people who you know, oh, I'm a student, she's a student, and she's doing exceptionally well. Network with that person. And some other persons who seems to be going ahead of you. When we talk about partnership, most times what comes to our head is people who are ahead of us. So now what do? When you network with people. I feel like you should pay more attention to people who are at the same level with you. Because when you pay attention to people who are at the same level with you, when you network with them, go into their DMs, they are not that tight in responding to your messages as much as persons who are ahead of you. So when you go into their DMs, I love what you do. Try as much as possible to leave substantial comments under their content. When you go into their DMs, the possibility of them seeing the blue light, so not blue light, I mean the green light in your idea is high. So let's say they decide to work with you. And in working with you, both of you are creative, both of you implement an excellent idea. There's a possibility that those who are ahead of you will notice your work, and by the time they notice what you're doing, they may not come under your comments to start saying, well done, keep it up, I love what you do, but they will notice your work, and someday that will pay. So in inspiring partnership over competition, try as much as possible to work with people who are at the same level with you, because most times when you talk about competition, you're talking about people who are at the same level with you. Pay attention to people who are at the same level with you. Respect those who are not on the same level with you, because they can have maybe possibly some information that will help you, or that will skyrocket your brand or that particular idea you have. So personally, I say that's the best way, or that's one of the best ways to inspire partnership over competition.
All right. Kinsley is asking, how do you handle partners or employees who are not as creative as you are?
All right. Remember when I talked about creativity, I said something. I said you must be an innovative leader. Innovative leader. There is a reason for that word leadership, because leadership is not just being bossy. Leadership is not being bossy. So if you have an employee or you have partners who are not as creative as you are, the best thing to do is there's the need to be a dialogue. Sometimes I bring up certain ideas, and then my project manager is like, that's beautiful, that's a beautiful idea. I can remember a particular scene recently. I gave him an idea, and he was like, that's a beautiful idea, but why don't we do it this way? So try as much as possible to there should be a dialogue. Humans are very funny. It's also a very important thing that you learn how to relate with human beings, because some other persons will know that what they are saying is wrong or doesn't make sense, or maybe because of pride, jealousy, or arrogance, they may not want to take in what you have. So try as much as possible to like be calm, watch them do their thing. Okay, this is what you're doing. Let's talk. Let's talk. There should be a dialogue, because if somebody is your partner, you guys ought to communicate. There should be a dialogue. If it's an employee, you are the you're the boss in quotes, but you're not acting as a boss. You have to act as a leader. This is what I want for my organization, because you are a visionary leader. This is what I want for my organization, and this is how we should do it in our organization. And an employee who is not that creative possibly needs to be trained. More reason why you need to train your employees. More reason why you, beyond just I have a school and you have teachers, take your teachers out for certain trainings. That's just train them. If it's an employee, train the person, train them, train your staff members, train your employees. And then by the time they are trained, in some way, they'll be knowledgeable. So when you start bringing your ideas, when you start putting your ideas on the table, you tell them that, yeah, you remember, this is similar to what we learned at so and so, when so and so came to speak to us. If you know that by the time we do it this way, this will be more strategic. If it's implemented this way, it will yield more results. Of course, the person is an employee and has to possibly calm down when the person is knowledgeable about what you're talking about, so that person won't feel like that you're bossy. So if it's a partner, there is need for there to be an understanding. Try as much as possible to sit down. There should be a dialogue. This is what I want, or this is what we want, or this is what will work for us. Permit me, don't use the word this is what I want, this is what will work for us. I believe that if we go through this route, it will yield more results. If there are past experiences or certain examples that had actually told the part this person wants you people to toil, as much as possible to bring that up and tell the person this cannot work this way, because you can see in so and so case, when this particular thing happened, this was what happened. But this was what happened. But if it seems the person is not yielding, then I don't think you should work with a partner who is not ready to have a dialogue that will yield substantial results. And I believe if the person's idea eventually has a clash, or there's a break or the idea doesn't eventually lead to success. I believe that that partner should calm down. If the person is arrogant, then I feel like you should break the partnership.
All right. So, guys, thank you so much for these questions. So, Chinyere wrote something people to network with, people who are ahead of you, people who are not at your level, people who are below you. Okay. Okay, Chinyere, too. Respect all. And King Tunde, great work, Janet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bello, Jane, leadership is not being bossy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, she's Janet. Bello Jane. Her name is Janet. That's her name. Yeah, Janet also. All right, guys. So I think we have to call it a day. We are already 1 hour, 11 minutes. Thank you so much, Janet, for this
Thank you,
amazing session.
sir.
All right. Good to see you. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for being part of this conversation. God
Thank you,
bless
sir.
you and keep all the great work you're doing. I mean, when I look at young people like you and the things that you guys do, it's just amazing what you guys are doing. I mean,
Thank you,
you
sir.
intimidate us, or the guys who are older, you guys intimidate us with all this knowledge in your head. Well done. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
sir.
part of the conversation, and God bless you. I hope to see you guys again.
Amen.
Good night from
Yeah.
me here in a worry to you, wherever you are. Good night.
All right. Bye.